this team, really.
Capital.
The 2-run home run, and Gamecocks going to look for Shelton to have another solid game today.
We are underway. North Florida, 6 runs per game on the year. Led the SEC in doubles. 6 hits yesterday. Quincy Lelio, transfer from Oklahoma, leading things off. What a first season she has had in Columbia, and leading the team in batting average this season. The count 2-1 now as, hey, listen, Benning fell behind to numerous batters yesterday against Virginia, but it didn't come back to hurt her. She only allowed 2 hits to one of the most powerful offenses in the ACC. There's a swing and a miss.
Well, that's the changeup, and in a hitter's count, she's going to need that today against the powerful offense of South Carolina. As you mentioned, she did work behind. She got 2-0 10 times yesterday, but only gave up a hit once.
And there is called strike 3. Benning picks up where she left off yesterday.
With a 2-2 count, and Benning goes back-to-back changeups. This one just right down the heart, and you can tell Lelio was not expecting that.
Here is Carly Shelton. You talk about Allison Benning, top 10 in the nation in wins in ERA. She faces Shelton here. And Benning is not only top 10 in the country in those pitching categories, but offensively top 10 in on-base percentage and walks as well. This one lifted to right field. Culp is there. What makes her so difficult to hit?
If you watch, she works on her locations are good. She's working low in the zone, in and out. Occasionally will elevate, but hasn't elevated a lot here in Columbia. But it's the fact she can mix that changeup in any count. We saw it 2-1 to Lelio and then 2-2. We didn't see it a ton back-to-back yesterday against Virginia, but showing she can do that early and creating doubt in South Carolina's mind already about which speed is she going to throw. You can't sit both. The difference is too drastic for you to try to sit both.
Starts off with a strike to Ariana Rhodey, junior transfer from Charlotte. And Rhodey went yard yesterday and now has 3 home runs in her last 3 games. And after the win last night, her head coach, Ashley Chastain-Woodard, said that was just Rhodey being Rhodey. She's had a tremendous record-breaking season here with the Gamecocks. 2-1. Count even at 2.
Another changeup in a hitter's count by Benning.
Rhodey up the middle, continues to deliver. First base runner of the day.
Well, 2 outs. This is a pitch, a curveball away. Elevated just a bit. Not a terrible pitch, but good hitting by Rhodey, just trying to take that up the middle. Not trying to overswing with that one. 2-out base runner for South Carolina.
Here comes Lexi Winters, another transfer from Charlotte, one of 6 Charlotte transfers Ashley Chastain-Woodard brought over from the 49ers program. They have helped this club have a magical season so far. South Carolina picked to finish dead last in the SEC. Instead, they are a top 8 seed for the first time in program history. Big swing and a miss for strike 2, however, to Winters.
Talking to Rhodey after the game, she says, we all believed we could do this. We just had to show everyone else that this was capable.
Doesn't chase that one from Benning. Last year, Winters was the American Athletic Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Tremendous addition at catcher. Trying to provide some offense here as that one fouled off.
She's so strong behind the dish and works really well with today's starter, Sam Gress. So a big key as Chastain Woodard came over, not just to bring her best arm, but also her battery mate and make sure that connection stays.
Winners over to short. That one handled by Bruneman. And the top half of the first is in the books. Getting the start in the circle for South Carolina is the ace of the staff, Sam Gress, the transfer from Charlotte.
Well, Sam Gress, the senior, has really been the staple. She's the heartbeat of the team, the lead captain. If you talk to Ashley Chastain Woodard, came over, as you mentioned, from Charlotte and has really just made herself home here at South Carolina. Has a high competitive spirit, and as you see there, unique arm side run. So it's like a screwball, except for she's not really trying to snap it off that way. Coach Ashley Chastain talking about how she grips it, and the last finger off is her middle finger, so it tends to run inside to righties, away to lefties. But her changeup is the key for her to have an elite outing. She needs to be able to locate that in the zone and let it fall out of the zone if she's going to keep offenses off balance.
And let's take a look at North Florida's starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. It's an offense that was getting no hit through 5 innings yesterday, but broke through in the 6th thanks to Kirsten Caravaca.
Well, Kirsten Caravaca, the first pitch she saw from Edom Bigham, she went ahead, tomahawked that right down the left field line. Talking to her post game, she was like, I was excited, I just wanted to make something happen. I'm pretty sure my coach told me to see something down, but I like that up pitch.
Leading off is Lauren Lulu Brock, and she takes ball 1 from Sam Gress, North Florida, winning the A-Sun tournament for the first time in program history. They had been to the conference championship game numerous times before that, 3 times in the last 4 years, but finally broke through and earning a spot here in Columbia. 46 wins on the year for Lauren Brock and her teammates. Slices one foul, and it is incredible when you look back at their game yesterday. First regional game in history, getting no hit through 5 against Virginia, and Julia Cuzo and Jeff Conrad's squad absolutely responded. The first 5 batters of the 6th inning reached, and we talked about the Caravaca hit, and they hung on for the win. What a job Jeff Conrad has done. Recently named the A-Sun Coach of the Year, and well deserved. Brock over to second. Shelton was playing in and makes the play. This is the 2nd best defense in the SEC, and they continue to look good this weekend.
As you mentioned, South Carolina was playing in for the speed of Brock and the fact she's a slapper, and that one on the off the bat looks like it might squeak by Shelton, but the angle and first step of Carly Shelton allowed her to glove that one.
Here is Allison Benning. 1 home run away from becoming just the 5th player now in D1 history to hit at least 20 home runs and win 20 games in the circle in a single season. The 4th player to do that. Did it last night. Jordy Ball of Nebraska.
And currently Jordy Ball the only one to hit over 400 while doing that. Allison Benning currently sitting at 403, so if she were able to do it, she would join that club to be 2020 plus a 400 average.
Rarefied air for the player they call Benny Otani. Terrific 2-way player, awaits the 1-0. That one into foul territory. Vincent gives chase and just out of her reach. And running into that bullpen wall.
This pitch slicing down the line, definitely high enough, but Vincent just runs out of real estate as she goes. Just out of the reach over there at the fence, but you gotta love the hustle as a pitcher.
Stretching out that right hand. 1-1 on the way. Benning is at 35 homers over the last 2 years, and again currently sitting on 19 this season. 3-1 count. Yesterday we saw Gress's teammates Lamb and Hurd pitch. Gress second on the team in wins, strikeouts, and ERA. But really their de facto ace. The 3-1. There's a base knock for Benning.
Gress was hammering the outside corner, and Benning adjusts, just stays down through this ball. Ahead in the count, able to swing freely. Off the bat, Benning knows she's got herself a single. Get down there to first base.
Her first hit of the regional, walked yesterday, so she's aboard. And here is Chloe Culp, the sixth-year senior. Popped up immediately. Shelton, a little miscommunication for a moment between Shelton and Rhodey, but they end up getting the out.
Well, Shelton and Rhodey calling that at the same time, and so Rhodey was going hard, and at the same time they almost both pulled off that, but Shelton smartly continued towards the ball. They're both calling it, and at the last second, even though Rhodey was under it, she hurt Shelton and backed off.
Two-way now for the cleanup hitter, Kirsten Caravaca. We talked about her heroics yesterday. She's been one of their top hitters all season long, has reached in 16 straight games. .354 hitter on the season. The Ospreys averaging just over 5 runs per game this season. This one lifted to left field. Vincent looks up, and that one is off the wall. Benning will hold up at third, and that is a 2-out double from Kirsten Caravaca. Remember, South Carolina fell behind early to Elon yesterday, 1-0 in the first, hoping to avoid the early deficit today against the Ospreys. Shaw Rocky, second team all-conference. And it's a 2-0 count. What are you seeing out of Gress right now?
Well, Gress normally almost pinpoint location, able to tuck that arm side run in at the knees, but you see it falling out of her hand some. The changeup we have not seen in the zone yet. You saw it high to Benning in the dirt there to Shaw Rocky. Could be a little bit of nerves here in regionals for the first time for Gress as well. But right now, there's just a vertical tail on everything she's trying to throw in the zone.
We saw that yesterday on day one of this regional from a few different pitchers. You could tell there were nerves. And you bring up a good point. Gress is South Carolina's ace, but this is her postseason debut this year with the Gamecocks. And the bases will be loaded for North Florida. A golden opportunity for the Ospreys early.
One thing to remember about Sam Gress is that she has pitched on this stage. Charlotte went to regionals the last 2 years while she was with Chastain Woodard over there as a 49er. But on this stage, hosting, wearing South Carolina, it's a little bit different.
Hadley Reichert at the plate takes strike one. Reichert, the senior third baseman, who's gotten hot at the right time of the year. She's reached in 10 of her last 11 games. Reichert up the middle, handled by Gress, and that is a huge third out for the Gamecocks. The fans here breathe a sigh of relief. North Florida leaves the city in a few weeks. Celebrate there as Ella Chansey leading things off for her squad. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up for the Gamecocks. Ashley Chastain Woodard told us after that 22-0 start, that one flared into the glove of Brock. after that hot start. It obviously exceeded everybody's expectations outside the program. They started to feel the pressure a little bit. And she said they had to kind of work through that. They had to deal with it. They had to address it. And feels like now they are playing free like they were at the beginning of the year.
Well, you go on a run like that, and it's fun for a while. It's like, oh, how far can we make it? And then all of a sudden you feel the pressure to continue it, because if you lose, what does that mean? And does it mean that, you know, you weren't that good, depending on who that first loss is to? And you just have to regroup and remember it's a game you're going out to play every day, and you can get on a run, you can get hot and you can get cold just as fast. But obviously for a lot of these athletes, it was a matter of the fact that they had, for the first time, really come together and made a name for South Carolina, and all the pressure that went through that.
There was an appeal over to first. A strike was called. Today's home plate umpire William Lopez, pellet over at first, Mark Brown. Scott there at second, Tanya Cash at third, and time is called now.
Well, third base umpire called time, alerted Allison Benning to an illegal pitch. I believe they signaled that her front foot is sliding forward off the mound, so it will be a 2-0 count.
Again, it's Tanya Cash at third, explaining things to North Florida's coaching staff. So the count will be 2-0 to Brooke Blankenship. And one more look at that last pitch.
Well, there you see, yeah, that foot comes forward. Oh, that's really close on whether that heel's actually on the mound or not, but Cash over there deemed it wasn't.
And regardless, Blankenship grounds out to Bruneman, 2 away. Benning looks much more settled early in the game today than she did yesterday at the start of that contest against Virginia.
She definitely looks more in control. Pitches are closer to the zone. Misses look almost intentional. Just more consistent with even her body and the way she's attacking the strike zone. So it does look a little more settled in. And as we mentioned, first NCAA tournament in program history. They were on the verge of their first ever program win in NCAA history, obviously. And as a pitcher, you're here for the first time, and this is what you dreamed of doing when you left Oregon to come to North Florida. Everything culminating. There's an excitement and butterflies, and you and I have talked about it a number of times. Sometimes it takes a while for those to settle. It's not like, hey, I threw one pitch, okay, now I'm good.
Settled in early today so far, at least. Abigail Knight taking ball 2. Allison Benning 25-5 on the season. 175 strikeouts. Chopped over to first. That's a 1-2-3 inning worked by Benning and the Ospreys. We move on to the bottom of the second here on day 2 of the Columbia Regional.
To us, I love his perspective on it. They're not trying to make too much of it, and it was a big, hey, we're just trying to figure out how can we get the first win on this stage, and not even, hey, we have to beat Virginia, but this team making it here wants to make history by also winning here, and they were able to do that in game 1. And you can tell, up or down, they just continue to play their style of ball. They were loose in the dugout. We saw the bubbles going. Allison Benning getting really excited a couple times. One a little bit premature on a out number 2.
One of 5 teams in the nation this postseason making their first ever appearance in a regional. But obviously, as we saw yesterday, not just happy to be here. Picked up the win yesterday. A couple of hits already today in this scoreless contest against South Carolina. Here's Addison Bruneman, sophomore shortstop. Called strike 3. First K of the day for Gress.
First strikeout of the day. Also, first changeup of the day landed by Sam Gress. This changeup just floats in there on the outer half. Great job by Lexi Winters. She pulls that back in just a little bit. But the senior settling into the circle here in the second inning.
North Florida really hoping to get something going from this bottom half of the lineup. The talent is there as Mackenzie Woods takes strike one. Woods is second on the team in home runs. First team all ASUN. Bouncing away from Winters. Winters having a quick chat now with Sam Gress and then returns to the dish. Gress in her 6th year of college softball. She's been around so long, she said her teammates call her grandma. 24 years old. I'll tell you what, Grandma brings some poise and great experience to this staff. She has picked up some big-time wins this year against ranked teams like Alabama, Texas Tech, Duke, and LSU. She has been clutch.
And Chastain will use the phrase heartbeat of this team when she's talking about Sam Gress over and over again.
Back-to-back Ks. She looks settled in now.
Oh, the heartbeat of her pitching arsenal right now is this changeup in the second inning. She was not able to land this in the zone during the first inning. 2 changeups looking now, or excuse me, strikeouts looking now with that changeup. That is going to be a key to Sam Gress and her excellence or her execution in this game.
Much more efficient inning after 3 batters reached to load the bases in the first. This one misses to Kaylin McCarthy, the sophomore transfer from Arizona State.
You see, similar to yesterday, we saw Virginia do this as well. Over the load the left side as McCarthy, a slapper, trying to find the holes over there. So you have Shelton shifted over right past second base. And actually Lelio is in at second base. Most people don't remember, Lelio was actually an infielder prior to coming over to South Carolina, and South Carolina told her, hey, we don't have a spot in the infield, but we want you to lead off, so we're gonna find a place for you to play. And center field is where she's taken over this year.
And played very well there. Two-1 to McCarthy. Poked foul.
The key for McCarthy right now is when they overload the left side is trying to be able to now find the gap in the outfield. They're going to pitch well enough. Oh, excuse me. Second base umpire is going to call that McCarthy was out of the box when she made contact, so therefore she's out instead of foul ball. Oh, but McCarthy's arguing that she only had 1 strike on her, so that should just be strike 2.
Well, the umpires will confer. William Lopez Palat heading out to have the conversation. McCarthy still standing just outside the back. Sam Gress grabbing a breather real quick before the decision is made. You can see the Gamecocks discussing it. Well, if you look over the scoreboard, the count is 2-1.
Right, so that should be a foul ball. It's supposed to only result in an out if you have 2 strikes or the ball was put in play, and then which I believe the coach might have the opportunity to pick.
I'll give the umpires credit, they got it right. So McCarthy's persistence there.
Well, McCarthy's going to have to
pays off.
She's going to have to be careful because she was called out of the box yesterday too. And so this is the second time in this regional that she's stepping across and has to figure out how she can get to that outside part of the play without stepping out of the box.
It's been a very good player for them this year in the 9 spot. 284 hitter, leads the team in stolen bases. She can wreak havoc on the bases. Gress will throw a few warm-up pitches since she headed back to the dugout. All right, so here we go. The count 2-2 with 2 outs. Still have the 5 infielder shift on. McCarthy returns to the batter's box.
And you see McCarthy now heels on the far chalk line, knowing that she's been out of the box twice.
Full count. Gress with back-to-back strikeouts. And ends up walking McCarthy. The inning continues. And now Ashley Chastain Woodard will head out to the circle as North Florida will go back to the top of the order.
Well, Chastain Woodard coming out to have a conversation with Gress on location, probably something she sees mechanically. At the same time, the infield not going to be able to overload the left side with Brock because McCarthy's on, so she's a steal threat. But my conversation too would be, we need to figure out how to get Brock. You don't want to face Benning with runners on if you can help it.
McCarthy over at first with 17 stolen bases on the season. However, keep in mind, South Carolina, top 15 in the country in fewest stolen bases allowed. Here's Brock 0 for 1. McCarthy is going to throw to second, not in time. Stolen base number 18, and McCarthy is in scoring position. Hold on a second. Did she leave early? Yes.
First base umpire Mark Brown right on top of that one, calling McCarthy out.
Today, pinch hit yesterday, but getting the call in this one, she takes ball 1 from Benning.
As this one starts to approach the midway point, fans are starting to get in this. Both sides.
Rowdy.
Not happy with the men and women in blue on the field at the moment.
Are they ever?
Probably not.
Allison Benning, 1 strikeout, 1 single allowed, and that is all. Anderson, 3 hits in her college career so far, getting a huge opportunity today.
Replacing Emma Sellers in the lineup as the DP today.
And works the count 3-1. Winning so many awards and accolades: Conference Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year, Scholar Athlete of the Year. Delivers strike 2. Also the conference tournament MVP as they won the ASUN. Offensively, Benning reached 7 times in the circle. She struck out 12. She's done it all up to this point. Popped up off the bat of Anderson. 1 away. Let's go back to that inning ending out by McCarthy, leaving early at first to end the second.
Remember, she has to stay on the bag until the pitch is released, and she is right there. That back foot as Sam Gress is coming into the release point is coming off the base. McCarthy thought she was on time. A little anger there. Might need a new helmet after that.
She has been statistically their best base runner this season, as Vincent shows. But how difficult is it at this time of the year, especially with pitcher you haven't seen before to time up when to leave.
It's not the timing part that's difficult. If you're someone like McCarthy, you're trying to time it just perfect. And to be honest, without the slow-mo, when you watch it in real time, that's less than a second difference as far as how quickly she was off the bag. But you have to tip your hat. I mean, Mark Brown was right on that, and watching both Gress as she released and McCarthy's foot, because that might be one of the closest ones I've seen called.
It was a nice call by the crew. Emily Vinson takes ball 2. Vinson, the senior transfer, one of 9 transfers on this team. Grew up just a few minutes from this ballpark. It was her dream to play at least one season here, getting the opportunity. It lines out into the glove of McCarthy, showing off that speed in center. So one time through the order complete. South Carolina went 1 for 9 against Benning. Back up to the top of the order we go. Ed Lelio coming up. Swinging away. Lelio went 1 for 3 yesterday, and she was an elite prospect coming out of California a few years ago. Top 5 recruit in the nation. Spent her first few years at Oklahoma winning multiple national championships. And wanted the opportunity for a little bit more playing time. Patty Gasso completely understood that. Parted ways on very good terms. And she has just been absolutely terrific this year for South Carolina, as we said earlier, leading the team in batting average. Top 10 in the SEC in walks this season.
Be interested to see how that conversation with Lelio went, because Ashley Chastain said they had the conversation early. We need you to be our leadoff. And after you spent the 2 years being a role player, now you're not just in the everyday lineup, but you're expecting to lead off the offense.
Ropes one down the line, but foul.
And while I'm sure it's a role that she was ready to take on, it's a lot of responsibility.
Responsibility offensively for Ashley Chastain Woodard, and a huge responsibility, as you mentioned, defensively for Lelio. Take it over center field.
It does show the versatility of Lelio, though, being able to come in, and the mentality. Hasn't missed a beat.
Works the count even. South Carolina just 1 base runner so far against Allison Benning. Full count coming up. Now you hear some of the North Florida fans upset at the call.
Thought that last pitch was really close. Could have gone either way. You see Benning just continuing to work and battle.
That one snared by Reichert at the hot corner.
Well, Benning continuing to hammer the zone. There's something to be said for a team that has absolutely nothing to lose, and that's the way North Florida is approaching this. And you could tell when we watched them practice, it was just like another day at work for them. Fun-loving, enjoying it. Coach Conrad even was like, hey, we're excited to be here, but we're not just excited to be here, but we're also not pressing, saying this has to be done. This group is just enjoying continuing to play together.
If you didn't know how the teams were seeded this weekend in the Columbia Regional, it would be tough to tell right now up to this point. We've talked about how good North Florida looks. Elon, even in their loss to South Carolina, had the same number of hits as the Gamecocks, 6 apiece, and they led early in that game as well.
We had 2 very good first day games.
Oh, what a sliding grab by Vinson in left. How about that South Carolina D?
Well, it looks like it could be a sinking single. I think it ended up on the other side of the foul line, but Emily Vincent, this is why she is in the everyday lineup. Her defense is absolutely stellar. Everyone else is excited, and she's like, that's just a routine play. But Emily Vincent, such an incredible outfielder. We mentioned yesterday, SportsCenter top 3 earlier this year with a home run robbery against Clemson.
Could be on there as well, and it is a routine play for this defense that has been so good all year, and this is the time of year when pitching and defense matters most. We've seen other times in this regional defense hurt some of the other teams. That's what's going to carry you towards the end of the season as the count 1-1 to Allison Benning. Singled in the first inning. Two-one.
You know, North Florida would have loved for that ball to fall in and have a runner on ahead of Allison Benning.
Wind is kind of blowing out towards left. Count 3-1, the South Carolina defense, top 10 in the country in fielding percentage, number 2 in the SEC. Top 15 in double plays, and 14 shutouts on the year to boot for the Gamecocks. Hitters count for Benning. And they walk her. Second walk of the regional, and reaches for the second time today. Runner on for Chloe Culp in the 3 spot. So North Florida has had 5 base runners already. South Carolina has had 1.
Well, North Florida came out swinging. Benning has been on twice. Caravaca continuing the hot momentum she had from her game-winning hit yesterday. But you can tell they have a game plan against Sam Gress, and they're trying to execute it. They're not chasing a whole lot.
That's a fair ball past Chansey. Benning will hold up at second. North Florida in business here in the 3rd.
Well, Sam Gress continuing to stay arm side, and Chloe Culp just pulls this, and Chansey playing a little bit off the bag. That goes right down the line, but over the bag. North Florida in business.
And look who's due up. The hero from yesterday, Kirsten Caravaca, delivered the game-winning hit, and she doubled earlier today in the first inning. There's strike 1 from Gress. Caravaca on the season hitting nearly 360 with 33 runs driven in. Rarely strikes out. Takes one to left field, but right at Vincent. It's a big second out for the Gamecocks, getting the hottest hitter on the North Florida roster right now. Benning remains at second. Culp at first.
Right now here in Columbia, it has been the top 4 hitters for North Florida. So that's a big out in the fact that everyone else has been rather quiet. A walk earned by Grace Shaw-Rocky in the first inning. But as far as the ability to drive in runs, it's all been at the top of the order.
Shaw-Rocky walked in the first inning to load the bases. This is the part of the order they are desperately hoping can come through again with multiple runners on. And a 2-0 count. Shaw-Rocky has been very good this year with runners in scoring position. A lot of poise at the plate for a freshman, very patient. But there is strike 1.
Well, and if I'm Sharaki, I want that pitch back because that pitch was right over the heart of the plate. Might have been knee high, but that was over the white. That's a pitch you want to try to drive right back up the middle.
And we are even at 2.
Well, in this situation as a hitter, your mentality has to be that you're trying to hit the ball hard. You're looking for anything over the white that you can attack hard.
2-2 with 2 on, 2 away. Rocky, bit of hesitation there, able to foul it off. We will talk to Ashley Chastain Woodard coming up in the next inning as her team is locked in an absolute battle right now with the Ospreys. The 2-2. Chamber inside. A walk and a single for the Ospreys offense in this inning. Can they take advantage? We go full.
Well, that changeup has been money for Sam Gress here in the last 2 innings. But I don't disagree here. That pitch is low. And it floats in just a little bit.
It's as close as you can get. Payoff pitch. Over to third, handled by Chansey in the south.